hearing my voice, that means that we're live on YouTube. We're going live with the Zombies We're Human 2 creator, Austin. And how do you say your last name? Because I think I'm always butchering it.
You are. It's okay. Janowski.
Janowski.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to write that down how I just said it. Because I know I'm always saying it wrong. And it's the dyslexia. Janow.
Yeah. Janow. Ski.
Yeah, that's exactly how I wrote it down. Because if I read it, my mind starts throwing the letters around, and I'm like, oh my God, I actually like Austin. For those who don't know, I've known Austin a good amount of time now.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Since before you even started, you wanted to do what you're doing now, but you hadn't done it yet. You were thinking about starting to do it. That's when we were met.
Yeah, and he's awesome, man. He's one of the best people I honestly know in comics. Great actor. Got a lot of stuff going on. I'm super excited to have him on the ICR today. And this is a treat because I know you're always busy. Like, I've tried in the past, and I know it's very hard for you. Like, I don't take it personally because you're a worker, man. You're out there doing what you got to do. So we're going to stuff today.
I've had a really good 8 months come with film work. So it's been pretty crazy. So I'm hoping today to hear something pretty exciting, but either way, it's still a pretty neat opportunity. Vague posting.
I mean, sometimes you have to vague post, right?
Yeah. Ooh, I'm really big now.
He's like,
okay, so I'm sorry about the background. You can see the suitcase and everything. Literally, I haven't recouped or caught up from C2E2. Like, my suitcase is here, still got books and stuff in it. I haven't cleaned up my studio. So it is what it is. There you go.
That's the life of a creator. We barely catch up. We get to the winter and then we sit around and we're quiet and complacent. We catch up on videos and movies and we play video games for a few minutes and then suddenly we're back on the road and we're like, wait a minute, what just happened to all that downtime?
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, I always joke with people, I actually have to schedule myself to be bored. When do I want to be bored? Let me schedule that in advance so I can have a day of boredom. So what are you on the show for today? Tell us what the exciting stuff you have for us.
Oh, so much exciting stuff. Where do I begin? Well, first, dramatic breath. You see my future zombie sweatshirt? My lovely wife made it for me. She does good stuff. This is to help promote a new Kickstarter that I'm running called Zombies We're Human 2 Volume 2, telling zombie stories before and how they become zombies. Don't know where to look. So light up here? I don't know. So we did a Kickstarter last year, and for Volume 1, talking about Juan, Chris, and Stacy. They were foraging. They were spooked by zombies, chased into this warehouse, and Juan was panicking. So to calm him down, the other two picked out zombies that they saw and make up stories of who they were, how long they lasted, and how they died, sometimes in a funny way. That's Volume 1. So Volume 2, they're able to escape from one building to the next building via a ladder they found on the ceiling, on the roof. It's like, we're going to escape through the building, and we're going to home. Obviously, we have a Volume 2, so that didn't work. They try to go through. There's more zombies. They have to make a decision. There's a storage cellar. They go into the storage cellar. So here's a video if you guys want to take a look. That tells better than me.
All right, so we're going to start the video over, and here you go.
I'm Austin Janowski, the writer and creator of the comic book series Zombies We're Human 2, telling zombie stories before and how they became zombies. And this is the Kickstarter for Volume 2 of that series. So the kids are able to escape from the one building to the next building via a ladder that they found on the roof. From there, they try to escape through the building down to the bottom floor and out. Unfortunately, it's now become infested with zombies. So as they're trying to get their way down, they are forced yet again into a situation where they have to save themselves. And they find a storage cellar, which turns out to be a safe room. But the bigger question is, whose safe room is it? And are they going to come back? So for Volume 2, it's another 100-page graphic novel. Color for the main stories, black and white for the zombies, and we have got a great selection of creators for this one too. Kickstarter was a great experience. We're very excited for Volume 2, and with your support, we can actually get there and make our goal and then some. So thank you very much on behalf of myself and the other creators, our writers and artists and cover artists for this book. We really appreciate it.
Now, You actually had changed your video in the middle of us watching the video on there. Why did you feel like what I think it was Mark was saying it at that point? What inspired you about what Mark said that maybe I can make a difference in this?
Well, what Mark did, I'm still new to this. This is my second Kickstarter. You know, the first one I knew nothing about nothing. We got funded, made all sorts of mistakes in fulfillment and everything like that, which took forever to get stuff out. This time we learned, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just more informative and the video, but the video was like 3.5 minutes long. And they said, we like it. It's great. Don't need all the extra stuff. A minute, a little bit more than a minute. That's all we need. Cool. Done. Made the video, minute and 3-5 seconds. And there you go. Short and sweet.
Now, is this one that we have up here the same video, or is this slightly different on YouTube?
No, that one on YouTube talks about the entire series. That's for people that don't know anything about it whatsoever. It's just more of informative. This is what it is. This is volume 1. This is volume 2. And just this way they get the whole, 5-second tour of the entire world of zombies.
Very cool. We're going to take a look at this right now then and see what's up. Make sure my volume's up.
So the idea behind Zombies Were Human 2 is you have 3 kids that are out foraging for food, and they get spooked by zombies. So to escape them, they run into this old abandoned warehouse where the youngest of the 3 is freaking out. So to calm him down, the older 2 look out and start picking out zombies that to get making up funny stories about them, who they were at the outbreak, how long they lasted, and how they died in a very funny way. So the kids are able to escape from the one building to the next building via a ladder that they found on the roof. From there, they try to escape through the building down to the bottom floor and out. Unfortunately, it's now become infested with zombies. So as they're trying to get their way down, they are forced yet again into a situation where they have to save themselves. They find a storage cellar, which turns out to be a safe room. So it's like, yay, we escaped from one building, and now we're trapped in a cellar. And yes, it is a safe room, but Juan isn't exactly feeling very safe and starts panicking again. So now the older 2, Chris and Stephanie, have to try to make up more stories to calm him down. But the bigger question is, whose safe room is it? And are they going to come back?
Bum, bum, bum.
Now, look at Raw. Now, the big question I have for you is, do you know about the Garage Con that we're doing?
I saw it, but I don't know 100% about it.
All right, so GarageCon, you know what happened in Emerald City, right? Emerald, it sucks. Emerald City has gotten taken off the map. Nothing against them. I know some people have hurt feelings about them waiting so long. It's a hard situation, guys. We've never dealt with this. And obviously, as a zombie creator, did you ever, as a zombie book creator, I should say, not an actual person who's creating zombies, but someone who's creating a story about them, did you ever expect to see this kind of pandemic, this kind of whatever you want to call it, happening? Is this like, oh my God, this is what I've been writing about, and you're starting to stockpile toilet paper? Or are you just relaxing and like, oh, here we go?
Well, I mean, we've had something like this every couple of years. But again, the way the media and everything is, they put a sensationalistic sort of spin to it. Now, that being said, it is very serious if it gets to your lungs. But like most viruses, there's simple things that you can do to combat so you don't get sick, to help yourself. Me personally, what I do is, and my wife picks on me, I wash my hands a lot. I'm always taking airborne, a couple things twice a day to help boost your immune system, to keep these colds and whatnot away. There's just small things like this you can do. Now, to answer your question, yeah, I thought it was only a matter of time before something like this happened, because we as humans were kind of gross. The people, hygiene isn't exactly on the top tier of things that people, they'll do. You're a guy, you've gone to, bathrooms and restaurants, whatever, and you're like, your floor, like, really? You don't wash your hands? I mean, bro, come on, But Yeah, I do. I mean, the population is so much bigger. It's bound to happen. It's only a matter of time. Unfortunately, there's been deaths, not as much as regular flu, but each one is very under a microcosm. So everyone knows everything about it. You know what I mean? That's the way news is nowadays. Every little thing that happens on a negative nature, bam, there's a spotlight right on it. And this way, everybody and their grandmother can see it instantaneously through hashtags and the whole like this. No, when I wrote this story, my idea with zombies was, and this came about 10 or so years ago. I was at Wizard World Atlanta, and this is when The Walking Dead just started. And Charlie and all them, they were the first featured zombies for The Walking Dead. They were the ones that were on the Entertainment Weekly cover. With Lincoln and the gun, and they're in the background being the zombies. Well, that was them. And we were having lunch, we were talking, and great, I love the comic book. And I just jokingly said, it'd be interesting if we did stories of who you were before you became zombies. They loved the idea. Contractually, they couldn't do it. It went by the wayside. And 3 or so years later, Facebook did the whole 7 years ago popped up, and I thought, oh, it's too bad we can't do something like that. That's how it all started. So I never really thought of a pandemic when I was writing this. It was more of we do so many zombie things of the survivors, you know what I mean? But what about this zombie who's dressed up as whatever? Who is he? What happened to him to cause him to become a zombie dressed like that or like this or in that place? You know what I mean? I want to think of something different. So that's how I kind of came up with the basic idea. And the creators that we have that are writing the zombie stories are absolutely amazing. They're just the uniqueness of their stories and the diversity of what they write. I love it. You know what I mean? And then the artists that we have are very diverse also. And I wanted that specifically. I wanted different art styles to fit the writings and have them completely different from what the main artist and story is. You know what I mean? This way you can tell there's a difference between, oh, that's a story. This is the main story. Also, the zombie stories are black and white specifically because one, it's a zombie thing and it's, creepy, but two, to differentiate. Long-winded answer, but no, I didn't think of a pandemic in writing my stories. I'm not surprised that there's something going on right now though, because, hygiene isn't, like I said, it's not really up there for us.
And I mean, everyone's joking about this, and it's not really a joke. It's really serious, but people don't realize this. As a creator, you get con crud no matter what you do, at least 2 or 3 times a year. You could be in a hazmat suit, and the con crud would find a way to get you sick.
Yeah, that is true. But to combat that, at least for me, because I've been in comics since '94. I've been doing shows since 1995. Up north is where I lived. That's like, 8 months of the year. If you have your immune system up pretty tight, a lot of vitamin C, airborne, always hydrating, always drinking, that can help with your con crud. Now, at shows, you get super exhausted too, right? So that kind of defeats the whole purpose. Drinking alcohol, well, at the time is great. That also... So you have to make choices. Do I want to try to stay healthy after the show, or do I want to have fun during the show? And most of the time, you're like, I'll take the fun. I'll deal with the con crud either. But yeah, some form or fashion, someone is going to do it. But if you do basic premises of, wiping your hands or whatnot, or fist bumping, whatever, you can keep yourself from possibly getting the con crud. And it can be serious. A good friend of ours, Jeremy Dale, passed away due to complications from getting con crud. He had gotten it at a show. He had some rare autoimmune disease that kicked in, and unfortunately he passed away. So it's not to take lightly. You know what I mean? Any sickness can possibly do damage to you. That's why, yes, the coronavirus or whatever the name is should not be taken lightly. However, be smart about what you're doing and think logically about what you're doing to keep yourself in the best, spot to do so. The show with with Emerald City, people were really bummed. I know Reed really wanted to keep the show going. The problem was the show was a few blocks from where you had some actual deaths from the virus itself. So with being such close proximity to that, they honestly, they just couldn't do it. You know, like when we were C2E2, we kind of joked like, wow, I'm surprised the show didn't get canceled. And then the week after, the show at that same place got canceled because they had actually had confirmed cases of the virus in Chicago as soon as we left. So I don't begrudge them. It's horrible for the creators and whatnot because they have a lot of time, money invested in these shows. This is how they have a certain percentage of their money that they make a year. But on the other hand, safety does come first. I mean, what's worth making some money or you know, possibly being very deathly ill, having to go to the hospital as a comic creator and having thousands and thousands of debt going to the hospital. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And it's weird. Like, do you worry that you might have gotten sick at C2E2 by somehow contact with someone? Because you're still in that weird window, right? That they're saying exists.
Yeah, no, because again, I'm a little bit hypo when it comes to doing stuff like that. I had Purell, right? I had, well, again, my wife who made this had, you know, the hand sanitizer right on there, anti-zombie juice right on the table. So people could come by, they could get their anti-zombie juice, and every time, you know, if I shook a person's hand, as soon as I was done, I was wiping hands. I apologize, man. I'm sorry. No offense. I'm doing my thing. You know, so was I a little worried? Maybe. But then again, you know, catching colds or concrete, I was just as concerned about that specifically. And yeah, I'm still in the window, but it's been, you know, 10 days and I'm no symptoms whatsoever. So I think I'm good.
Now, you know what's good? This book. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it. Let's go over some of these beautiful rewards. Let's go over the Kickstarter. So we don't get to look at the Kickstarters anymore. So we just cover too many. We used to actually get a chance to look at every Kickstarter, but now we cover at least 10 to 20 a show, and it's just there's not enough time in the day. But check this.
Right.
We have a future zombie T-shirt. How cool is that?
I think it's pretty cool.
I'm trying to look at all these cool rewards. Tell me about them.
All right. So we've got the digital rewards where you can get just volume 2 of Zombies. You can get the Zombified digital where you get volume 1 and 2 Zombies. You get the Dawn of the Dead, which is a prequel to an audio drama web series that I'm acting in. I played Dr. Gerald Scott. Yeah. And the awesome guys at Inkforge Studios gave us a copy of Upstart #1, and their Kickstarter is actually running right now for #2. So you should get this, and then you should go and get #2 because it's an amazing book. And Dennis Lennon, who is the colorist for a lot of stuff for Zombies, actually colored the interiors for Upstart #1 and #2. So support Dennis because Dennis doesn't do this full time, and he's an amazing colorist. So yeah, there's the digital stuff. The T-shirt's really cool. You can get the soft cover for volume 2. You can get a hard cover for volume 2. And I've got catch-up tiers where if you have, you can get one. You can get 1 and 2 soft and hard cover. You've got print rewards where you got John Pinto, amazing artist, super nice guy. You can see, yeah, with the zombies like, so there's that one. You can get John Grosjean. You can get an actual print of the hardcover image that was done by Louis Garagna, David Riviera, and Casey Bailey. And then you have a retailer reward tiers where they can get 5 copies of volume 2, and they can do a catch-up of volume 1 and 5 copies of 1 and 2. And then we've got art tiers, where Stan Yak has very graciously offered to do commissions, headshot zombie commissions, for anyone that wants to do a go for only $60. That includes the book and the digital reward tiers too. So, I mean, Stan normally charges a minimum of $90 to $100 plus shipping, and you can get a sketch for like $60. And if you don't want a zombie one, just $10 more, you can get a non-zombie version. We are offering $80. You can get an actual original piece of artwork from Volume 1 or Volume 2, or one of mine personally from like IDW, Satellite Falling, Evil Dead 2, and a bunch of others. And then we have even bigger reward tiers. We're offering the actual cover images. So Carl Moline did the pencils for Volume 1, which I was lucky enough to ink and Dennis colored. So the original artwork for Zombies 2 softcover is available. The artwork for Volume 1, Eric Donovan, who did the hardcover image, that's available. And Justin Mason did the actual regular comic book cover. That's available too. So we got a lot of stuff for everything, small and large. So
now, let me ask you, let's switch gears and let's talk about for just a few minutes, because I want them to know how awesome you are. I was at MegaCon and I got to see you actually film something live in a panel room at MegaCon, which was awesome. I loved the experience. Jax was with me even. So tell us about your acting career. I don't think that we've really ever gotten a chance publicly, at least, to sit and talk about what's going on. How'd you get into acting? What's up with that? Like from comics to acting? How's that happen?
All right. So I did acting all through high school, but I loved to draw, loved comic books. So I became to a crossroad when I went to college of acting or artwork. Now, I lived in upstate New York, hour from Syracuse. Syracuse was kind of a big hub for comic books. You had Bart Sears, Andy Smith, John Ostrander, Roger Stern. A lot of creators in the area from New York on down. And I went to a comic book show and I met Bart, and he looked at my samples after I'd given him a hard time. And then Tom Lyle did, and then Graham Nolan, it got passed down. So that kind of gave me the bug. So in New York, I thought, I'm not really going to be able to do much with acting because I'm in the middle of nowhere. Comics it is. Fast forward, doing comic books part-time, full-time job as doing in graphics, first as a graphic artist, through art director, then as a creative director, and I retired. And then during that time, moving to Tampa, Rick Danford is a filmmaker, and I knew him because we were friends as a playing poker or whatever. He had a film, You Want to Be a Ghoul. Awesome. Ken Anthony, good friend of mine with comic books. He got into film. Hey, you want to be a bodyguard in my film? Cool. And I thought, this is fun. I like to do this. What do I want to do? What's the plan? What's just audition. Go to auditions and get experience, and hopefully you can start getting roles. I said, okay. So I went and talked to my wife, and what are we going to do? Hey, can I try this? So she gave me 3 years. And then I started auditioning, but I got roles enough to make a reel and get an agent, and then started doing acting classes. Lee Perkins is my acting mentor. He's been in like Foxcatcher and The Domestics and everything. He's done 25 years worth of really quality films. He helped me kind of hone what I was doing, and then started getting commercial bookings and then film bookings. And then this past year, things just kind of clicked. I've been in 4 or 5 features now. One, Great People, and then 45 Seconds, which is going to be on Netflix. And then Painkillers, which just filmed here. Mark Savage's film. 3 Black Men and a Jew Walk Into a Bar. Grant Cutler's film, which is going to be theatrical release, and I think Netflix too. And then did episode 1 of Dan Myrick's horror series, Black Veil. So I don't know how I got into it. Honestly, I just tried. Honestly, I saw opportunities. I didn't want to say what if, and I just did it. And the best piece of advice Lee ever gave me, this was at the beginning, he goes, whenever you're doing auditions, he goes, you go in because you're trying to solve a problem. They have a problem. They need a role filled. You're trying to solve a problem. Be truthful in what you're doing with your acting and do your version. And if they buy it, fantastic. If they don't, they don't. And you just move on. Don't take it personal. And that's what I've been trying to do. And I've been very fortunate between commercials and films and TV this past year. Things have I've leveled up a little bit. So, yeah. it's I don't know. If I really think about it, I can't wrap my head around it. It's pretty crazy.
That's pretty cool, though. That's a good journey. And a lot of times in comic books, a lot of comic book creators seem to journey beyond comic books. Even if they come back, leave for a while, and still come back, there's always this draw to comic books that I don't think people understand is magical and mesmerizing and even addictive at times. It's probably why people have to leave for a while. They have to go through, the addiction counseling that is comic books. Now, let me ask. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. It's the most unique. It's the most unique art form that there is. It's the most unique storytelling platform that you can find. It merges high quality writing with mesmerizing imagery to the point where what's close to it is actually doing film, right? Because up until past 10 or so years, what you had in your head, technologically wise, they couldn't come close to it. So comic books was the next best thing, at least for me as a storyteller. For the imagery and the different things I wanted to try to do, comic books was the way. Now, movies have now caught up and to what's in your brain. And it's addicting. Having people buy your stuff and seeing the look on their faces or looking at the images and stuff like that is just absolutely fantastic. I'm floored that people actually want to stop at my table and have a chat with me still. Because I've done this for 26 years. I've done a lot of mistakes and bad decisions and good decisions, whatever. So I'm actually able to do it. But yeah, unfortunately, the money's not there like it used to. So some people have to walk away and make some good money and then come back. That's why, the backup plan and design was supposed to be the backup plan. Comics was supposed to be the full-time thing. But I was lucky as I fell into a time where I could draw and do commercial computers. So it made me very marketable for Disney and everything like that. So that's why I was actually able to get some good jobs.
Well, that's good. That's pretty cool, in fact. Let me ask you, did you create this whole book by yourself? Was this something you drew the whole thing and you wrote the whole thing?
No. I'm not. I can draw. I'm an inker. I like to ink. I can't really draw. I can, but I'm like way, way, way too slow. So no, I have some amazing, amazing, amazing creators. And I'm glad you asked that question. I'm not prepared, Mr. Rob. But I will try to tell as many names as I can. And if I miss one, I do apologize. So the people that are in 1 and 2, Garrett Gunn and Stan Yak were in 1 and 2. Anthony Zarkuri was also in 1 and 2. Matthew Kaiser was in 1 and 2. And then people are blowing up my Facebook thing. What are we doing? We're going to shut that off right now because you're stop it. Okay. Sorry about that. So for 1, we had Russell Nolte and Matthew Childers do a story. Cedric Hood did a story with Salvador Raga, which was great. Rick Danford, my movie guy, he always wanted to write a comic book, so I had him write one with Javier Lugo. And then you had Matthew. His artist was Joseph Arnold, which was great. Gabe Kuna was a writer, up-and-coming writer, really great guy, great chef. He did a story with Justin Mason. I know I'm forgetting stuff. These are zombie things. Then 2, you got Joel Rodriguez, and then John Pyle, John Crowther, Carl Bernardo, Joe Davidson, actor for Stranger Things 2, John Grosjean, and then my main art team, Mercurio Campitella. And I'm sorry, Mercurio, I say your name wrong all the time. Such a great artist, such a nice guy. He's the main guy who does the art for the story for 1 and 2. Juan did the colors. Yeah. Juan Rodriguez, he did the colors for 1, and Juan Chula did the colors for 2, and Zach Sam did the lettering for the main story. There's no way I could do this on my own, and I didn't want to. This is kind of it's one continuous story, but kind of an anthology. I like collaborating. As an anchor, I wanted to do that at the very beginning because I can work on great stories and with great artists. So I like that. So that's how I wanted to do this too. bring a lot of people in. Some have done it a long time. Some haven't done it very often. Some always wanted to, but they've never had a chance. That's one of the reasons why I put all these people together. That's why I enjoy it. So no, again, another long-winded answer. Lots of different people have helped made this book so amazing, not just me. I just came up with the idea and wrote the main story.
Yeah, but I mean, you're also bringing all these people together, aren't you? Like, that's impressive to me. I just running a site trying to get people to come on to be interviewed so they could talk about their stuff is sometimes a nightmare. I can only imagine how it is to get these same creators to actually get up and do work. How has that been, being a boss of it? Is it something natural for you?
Oh yeah, no. Well, I don't know. Natural. I just being a creative director, you have a lot of different people for delegating and stuff underneath you, putting a project together. So I've had years of experience. So getting involved with this was kind of the same thing. For the first one, I just wanted to do a book. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I wanted to get it done. Again, learning from mistakes and what not to do. For volume 2, I had people that were now like, instead of asking them, they're like, hey, I'd like to, do something. They pitched ideas. I approved the ideas. I had artists that wanted to do stuff. I chose the story with the art that I think fit best, made the team, gave deadlines. And that's kind of just how we went about doing it. Right now, we have enough story we have 55 zombie pages for volume 3 already that we couldn't fit for volume 2 because I wanted to keep it at 100. So we're already halfway into 3, and we still have people asking they want to do stories for 3. I have a couple of people that we might do one-shots. There's a lot of things that can possibly happen. We have a lot of people that are interested in putting stuff in. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Everyone has their own, timetables, whatever. But everyone's been really diligent, professional, making sure and adhering to the deadlines. You know what I mean? And making sure that the stories fit what we're doing in the actual main story too. Having volume 1 has helped a lot because with volume 2 they have a base to draw from. Whereas volume 1, they're just writing stories, and I made it fit kind of what I was doing. Now that we have a world and things started, 2 is much easier to kind of give them guidelines and story ideas and make it all fit for volume 2.
So are you saying the book's actually done?
It is. All the zombie stories and artwork are done. We have 11 pages that we need to do for the main story. So it's not done. But volume 1, I'm like, oh yeah, no, we're almost done. We've got X amount of pages.
Awesome.
But I didn't take into account with Mercurio jumping onto Fathom, and then Juan having to do stuff with Zenoscope. And then there's all these timetables that I'm like, pushed us way, 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 way beyond what we should have done time-wise. So no, the book's not done. It's prepped to be done. The stories are set up. I can send Mercurio and the colorist. We can get it done very fast. No problem. It's already set up, but it's not fully done. I'm hoping once we get funded, once that's done, we go to the 11 pages. It's already being lettered. We get that back. I've already got the printers already set up. That was another nightmare. That's all done. Fulfillment is all squared away. We just have to get it done. I did so many things wrong on 1. So many things I did wrong on 1 that I know what to do on 2. Please give a shot on 2. I know it took forever for 1. 2 will be much better.
But I think you learn, and that's the big thing with indie comics is that we all learn. But when you see the creators coming back for issue number 2, they're ready because they've gone through.
Yeah.
They've been through something. And a lot of people don't realize that issue number 1s always have problems. I have never put out an issue number 1 to this date that has not been a nightmare. I don't know. It's just that. It's that breaking through the wall to have your comic book become alive. Issue 1 has got to be a nightmare. Something always happens. I appreciate
always happens. Unfortunately, it was like multiple things that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact that you came back with the second issue because that says you're serious about it. This is like a stamp of, I think it's Chuck who always says, if you put a number 1 on it, you better have a number 2. And obviously, here it is with the number 2. I'm super excited.
Oh, yeah, we got number 2
Our
and number
time-
3.
On number 3. Look at that trilogy. I know I promised to keep you on short because I know you're a busy guy, but I do want to ask before you go.
Sure.
How has been the response in public? There's a big difference between online, because online, especially in the last couple years, it's gotten harder and harder to get the message out there. What have people said at shows to you about the book?
The people that like this sort of thing run to it. C2E2 was really crazy. The people that like the whole zombie genre, they're like right to it, and they're like, "Oh, this is so neat." Or the people that were looking at it, and then I'm like, "Well, it's zombie stories before how they became zombies," and they're like, "That's new. Tell me more." And then told about it. They like the artwork, the quality is there. They bought books. If we weren't in the middle of the Kickstarter, we would have sold more of the C2E2 Volume 2 exclusives. I guarantee it. But we sold about 25 of the graphic novels.
Sweet.
Of Volume 1. And we didn't promote Volume 1 at all. We just said, hey, we got these exclusives. And then when they were there, they saw they had Volume 1s, and they bought that. So everywhere we've gone, we basically have sold most of the copies of our zombie stuff. And that's indicative to the type of quality of the artwork and stories that we have. It's, getting the right art teams, writers, and artists that put out the quality stuff, because it needs to stand up with Marvel, DC, and Image, all that. And it has to kind of, has to have that smell test, and I think our books do that.
Oh, I've definitely seen where people have cautiously looked at my properties and been like, well, like if they touch it, they'll get cooties. And then the minute they open the book, they're like, wait, this actually looks good. This looks professional. Yeah. This looks like someone actually put effort in. And I think that's, I think it's indicative of indie comics, that sometimes there are fans who are really into comics who are used to a beautiful cover and then the insides. I don't want to say false advertising, but I don't know what else to say about it.
It doesn't live up to it. But I will say, just in the past 5 or plus years, the indie market has really upped their game. I mean, Joel and Travis and, all of you, everyone is like, if we're going to compete with such a small amount of space, we need to up our game. And everyone across the board really has done so. Let's put it this way. There isn't an indie book that I've seen in the past 4 or 5 years that it isn't like, like, oh, that's great cover, but the artwork's like, yeah. Everything looks really professional, and I'm floored, and I'm thankful, because I think that's what's still saving the comic book industry. I mean, the big two are they are who they are. But yeah, the indie market is what's keeping us afloat, in my opinion.
Well, in the indie market, you can't afford to have a year of bad comics. That's basically it. Marvel and DC, they don't even see the sales of the books they're making for months down the road. And then they start making decisions when they've already pissed off the fans. We're in the trenches. We're talking to people. That's why it's so important that you go out and you support people like Austin. And I say it all the time. Get his PDF package and then go to a show and buy his book from him and get him to sign it. But right now, considering the Kickstarter can use some love, get some of that exclusive stuff, some of those exclusive offers.
Yes. Please do.
What? You can't get those at a table, the exclusive offers.
No, you can't.
And this is a collectible comic book because there's a celebrity in it.
I know. Joe Davison, man. Stranger Things 2. So crazy.
I think you should just market it that way.
Yeah, for Volume 3, I've been chatting with Jeremy London, and he wants to do a story for Volume 3.
Sweet.
So there's that. That's pretty cool. I will say with my Kickstarter, I don't see a penny of it. Pretty much any and all money that I'm making is going towards covering the art costs or printing costs or fulfillment and shipping. That's it. I don't make any money on it. I want to make sure that everyone's taken care of. You know what I mean? And if whatever little money I get after is to help print books to take to shows. You know what I mean? Kickstarter is not how I make money. The film work and everything and freelance, that's how I make my money. I want to make stories. I want to bring creators together to make really cool zombie stories in this world. And I want to make sure that they're taken care of, because I've been an indie guy and I understand, you know, you're doing it for the love. It'd be nice to get something back from it. So if I can make this goal, I can do that. I can, you know, put some money back towards these guys like we did last year. So.
Well, that's super cool, and I appreciate you being on the program today. Tell everyone where they can find you. Obviously, you can find, for those wondering, sorry about that, I knocked them off for a second. For those who are wondering, you can get this on indieadvocates.com, the link to it, to his Kickstarter, and of course, you can go to Kickstarter itself. Any special URLs for it this time around?
Just if you want to know a little bit about me, just type in my name in Google and you can find out stuff. My Instagram and my Twitter and all that good stuff. I'm trying to do TikTok, and I'm doing TikTok stuff. I don't understand it. It's interesting. So if you're on TikTok, Tin Sky Media, I'm on there fumbling trying to make TikTok videos. It's actually pretty pathetically funny. You should go check it out.
You might. All right. Well, thank you for being on. Hang out so I could say goodbye to you properly off air. Everyone, thanks for joining us for this amazing program. We had a great celebrity on the show today in Austin.
We did. Who?
One day you guys are going to see him in a major motion picture, and you're going to feel bad if you don't back this, because this will be a collector's item. So get your collector's item today, and then go see him at a live premiere and be like, I knew you win.
Obscurity. It will go away sooner or later.
And that's it for today. Thank you for joining us for the ICR, the Indie Comics Report, and our guest today, an amazing creator. So go out there and be like him, create quality books. We'll see you next week. All right, that's it, YouTube. You guys got the start, and now you're out too. So thanks for joining us, YouTube audience. We'll see you in the next broadcast.